I wish someone had told me that it is scary. It's going to be scary. You're allowed to be scared. It's a big step up from finishing university and starting in practice. And you don't have to know all the answers. You don't really have to know any of the answers. I think you just have to use your colleagues and pop a smile on your face and accept that certain things are going to be frightening and that you're not the only person being frightened. Every single person in your situation is a little bit scared, and each day that you do it, it gets a little bit less scary, and then it starts to get really quite fun. So just never sit there and feel frightened and alone, because every single person is sitting there feeling exactly the same. So you're never by yourself. You're feeling the same emotions that every person in your situation is feeling, and they're all completely normal.
I think one of the biggest things I've learned and appreciated since graduating as a vet is how important client communication is. It's so important to have thorough, relaxed and frank discussions with clients, to admit when things haven't gone as you expected, but also to give explanations for all the eventualities of a workup or investigation. It just allows a better relationship to develop with the client. So being open, relaxed and friendly with clients certainly makes being a vet a lot easier. It allows you to maximise patient care as well as keeping you in a steady supply of chocolates and wine.
I feel if you're prepared mentally, if you've run through something, if you've read it up, it's fine to do these procedures. It's fine to go for it and do it. Don't feel too frightened about trying things. I think that's a message that new graduates really need to be able to take on board. You know, just get stuck in there and do things, because once you've done it, once your hands have practiced that, even just once, you'll feel a lot more confident.
I think the best thing that someone said to me when I was a new graduate was that it's okay to fail. You don't have to be an expert at everything. In fact, you can't be an expert at everything. And you will fail at some things, but that's okay. It's how you manage that. And also the fact that the veterinary profession is incredibly supportive. So you should try and manage that by asking other people for help. Particularly within your own practice team, but also there are so many other sources of support for that.
I've been an RVN now for over 40 years. This is a fantastic profession. If you're just entering this profession, I hope you get as much enjoyment out of it as I did. There are a lot of people out there who can help you and support you and encourage you. And using organisations like the BSAVA, they will always be there for you. There are mentors in every section of the profession, so use them.
So when I first graduated, the thing that I was most worried about was having to suddenly make all these decisions on my own. And actually, it hasn't been like that at all. Since I've been in practice, there's loads of times when you have to make decisions, but there's nearly always somebody else in the practice, or even when you're on call, there might be somebody on the end of the phone, or even somebody you can text, and I've never really felt that alone.
So I came back from a baby break 2-3 years ago now, and straight back into nursing, which I did find very difficult because, you know, medicine moves on, procedures are different, the things that we're allowed to do are very different now, and had there been something like this available for me then, I would have, jumped up and down for joy. Being able to access something online, watch something in the privacy of your own home where nobody can see that you're boning up secretly would have been brilliant. So it's an amazing thing, and I'm so glad it's here.
One of the most useful things I've learnt since being in practice has been that you need to make friends with your nurses and use them as much as you can. Your nurses know loads and can give you masses of good advice when you're a new graduate, so make friends with them. The other thing I think I'd say to somebody new is don't be afraid of a difficult surgical case, especially out of hours when you're on your own and it's scary as hell. Just take it one step at a time and remember that you are actually trained to do all this and you can do it. Just take it slowly.
Well, I was lucky to be given good advice. I had a really good mentor at university. I was interested in doing research and a PhD, and Bill Jarrett, my mentor, said to me, go into practice, get it out your system, go out there and enjoy yourself. And the bit about enjoying yourself was really important advice to me. So I spent a very happy 5 years in practice, learning lots of new things, meeting lots of new people and having a really great time. Unfortunately, his advice didn't stretch to don't make your first job a single-handed locum, which maybe is advice that I should have got from someone else. But I survived that 2 weeks and went on to be very happy in practice before returning to university 5 years later to do a PhD.
The thing that I would say to myself as a new grad is it doesn't matter if you don't know everything, and it's important that if you feel like you're not sure, say that to the owner and say, I'm going to go and find out, or I'll ask a colleague. Much better to do that than to make something up or say something if you're not quite sure that it's right.
There were two things I really wished I'd known when I qualified. I think the first is that veterinary practice is at least as much about people as it is about animals. And the second is that there isn't just one right way to do things. Most of our education, be it at university or afterwards, talks about animals, their diseases, how we diagnose them and treat them. We talk lots about evidence, best practice and gold standards. But when we're actually in practice, animals come with owners attached. And for all sorts of reasons, they may not be able to carry out what we consider to be best practice. They might not be able to afford what we want to do. They might not be able to give medication. They might not be able to take time off work to go to a referral practice. And if we're not careful, it can feel as if we get into conflict with the owners. And I think what I wish I'd known was we're not talking about doing what's best for all animals with a particular condition. What we have to think about is what's best for this particular animal in this particular set of circumstances.
I think the most important thing is to ask for help. Everybody remembers how terrifying it is as a new graduate, and nobody minds giving you a hand, so just ask for help if you're not sure. The other thing that really helped me was doing something outside of work. So playing my violin, it gives me something else to do and to think about, so my whole life's not revolving around the job. And a really good friend support system makes a massive difference as well. You know, being friends with the people at work, so you can go out and have a nice time and you feel that you've got that support at work. When you're looking for a practice to get a job, just try and find out at interview what sort of support they're going to give you as a new graduate, and check you're going to have on-call backup, because that makes such a huge difference.
Which I would like to tell my younger self if I had that opportunity is really to be gentle with myself. I think everybody makes mistakes, everybody gets things wrong, and sometimes we pile such pressure upon ourselves that we don't really recognise that for ourselves. So I can remember one example when I was fairly new in practice, and I saw a bitch that I'd spayed that had come back into season. And I'd left a bit of ovary behind, and I was absolutely mortified. The senior partner sat down with me and chatted through what we'd done, or what I'd done, and then she did my next bitch spay with me, and we together worked out some tweaks to my technique so it wouldn't happen again, and it didn't happen again. But I did continue to think about it and anguish over my mistake for months and months and months. And so I think, really, I wish I had been able to just think about it, make the changes I need to make, and then move on and recognise that everybody makes mistakes sometimes.